Welcome to When Clock Hits 10, where every tick hides a tale and every tale hides a truth. Tonight's story takes you deep into a case once considered solved. 5 bodies, 5 antique clocks, 1 man behind bars. It should have been over, but then a letter arrived. 6 chilling words. The man you locked up wasn't the killer. What if the truth was buried with the evidence? What if the game never ended? This is Who is the King? The game isn't over. Can you solve the mystery before it's too late?
I closed the case 8 years ago. 5 bodies, 5 clocks, 1 man behind bars. It was over. Or so I thought, until yesterday when I received a letter. No return address, no explanation. Just 6 words, printed in bold black ink. The man you locked up wasn't the killer. It shook me, because deep down, I had always feared those words. Now they were staring back at me, like a challenge. My name is Elias Rourke, 23 years as a homicide detective before retirement, and only one case ever haunted me, the Clockman Murders. It started with David Keller, 32, found in his apartment. The door was locked from the inside, no signs of forced entry. A vintage clock placed on his chest, its hands frozen at 10:03 p.m. Then it happened again. 4 more victims. Each body discovered in a locked room. Each scene marked by the same chilling details. An antique clock, stopped at the time of death. And a chess piece, placed precisely on the victim's chest. 5 victims, 5 clocks, 5 chess pieces. Each murder felt like a calculated move. We found Adrian Vex on the 5th day. A loner, strange, obsessive about puzzles. He didn't resist arrest. In fact, he confessed during the first interrogation. His words were cold and empty. "Time is a lie," he said. "But the king must fall." I hated how poetic he made it sound. We had a confession. Forensics matched him to the 5th scene. We closed the case. But something about it never sat right. Now, 8 years later, that letter cracked everything wide open. I couldn't ignore it. So I went back to the file's dusty boxes in my garage, filled with shadows. I found the riddle. Back then, we thought it was gibberish. Latin scribbled on the wall at every scene. We never translated it. I never bothered. But now, I did. Sum praesens ubi tempus moritur. Vivo ubi veritas latet. Translation: I am present where time dies. I live where truth hides. I read it again, then again. What did it mean? Was it pointing to a location? Or was it describing someone? Then I noticed something else. Clock number 3. The one found at the 3rd murder scene. It wasn't in the official evidence photos. It wasn't at the scene at all. Because it was in my house. It had been in my house for over a decade on my mantle. I thought it was a retirement gift. But now, I wasn't sure where it had come from. I walked over to it. Same design, same cracks, same brass dial. I turned it over. There was a tiny latch at the back one I had never noticed before. I opened it. Inside was a small cassette tape. Not digital, a VHS like the kind we stopped using ages ago. Taped to it was a note. Watch only if you've started to doubt. I hooked up my old player, static. Then a video began. It was me, 8 years younger, staring into the camera. My voice was shaky. "If you're watching this," I said, "then you finally saw it. Look under the 3rd clock, the one you thought was yours." I paused the tape, went back to the clock. Underneath the wooden base was a hidden compartment. Inside, a folded chessboard, carved into wood. 7 pieces were neatly placed inside, each one stained red. One was missing. The king. There was also a final note. The clockman was never real, but the players are. Find the king, and you'll find the killer. My hands trembled. Adrian Vex confessed, but what if he was just a pawn? What if he was placed there? Set up? Or worse, manipulated into believing he was the killer? I looked back at the tape. The final seconds played. "You missed the game. But you were part of it, Elias. You always were. It's your move now. I stared at the chessboard, 7 pieces in blood red, the missing king, the unanswered riddle, and the question that screamed inside my mind. Was I chasing the killer, or was I helping him? This case isn't over. It never was. Now, I have to go back to the beginning. Back to the scenes I thought I understood. Because one piece is missing, and the killer is still playing. So I ask you if you've been listening. Can you solve the mystery before I do? Tell me in the comments, who is the king? Because in part 2, we reveal the truth. The game isn't over. It's just getting started.